Thanks for checking out my YouTube channel today. I'm really excited about the things that I have to show you in this comic book editions video, which includes an unboxing of my very first ever Remark. I can't wait to get to that. Thanks for joining me today. If you're new to the channel and haven't clicked subscribe yet, I hope that you'll do so. It's a great way to show support to the channel, and if you click the notification bell, you'll instantly be informed when new content is added. Thanks. So it was the first weekend in October that my favorite comic show that I go to every year because it's a yearly event was held in my area. It's just a local show, Dbq Con in Dubuque, Iowa. And I like this show the best because I always seem to find a wide range of items and get really good prices. And this year was no exception to that. I had a great time. I had friends from another town that came down, and we always go together to this event and just check out all the vendors and the offerings. And there were quite a few comic books vendors to shop with at this event. I'll have some footage for you from it towards the end of this video, so we'll talk about that later on. Right now, I want to show you some of my pickups from that. Anytime that I go to a comic book show, I always wonder what's going to be that first book that makes that triggers me to go, I have to buy this right now. I can't check out any more of the con because I think this is too good of a deal, or they might not have this book, or it might get sold if I come back for it later on. What is that book going to be? And the book that it is this year is one that was going to be on my 2022 top 12 goal list. Even though I'm still one book away from accomplishing my 2021 goal list, I'm thinking ahead to what the 2022 goal list is going to look like. And this book was probably going to be number 2 on the list. But now it's off the list before it ever made the list because I picked it up. It was too good of a price to pass up. I have Marvel Team Up Annual number 1. Isn't that a great Dave Cockrum cover? Yeah, I love it. So it's my understanding this is the first time that Spider-Man meets the new X-Men team. This isn't on the Marvel digital app, so I haven't had a chance to read it, and I'm looking forward to doing so. And like I said, I've already checkmarked one from the 2022 list before it even made the list. But finding this, I thought, yeah, I can't go any further in this con without buying this book, and it was my first purchase. The next thing that I ended up picking up at the con is a great Avengers book. This is issue number 158. Now, while I've been kind of focusing on my Justice League run because I have 60-some issues in volume 1 before I can complete it, I didn't want to ignore my Avengers run either because I'm slowly chipping away at that. I have these random pocket holes in my Avengers collection. And this is one that I didn't have, obviously, which is why I picked it up, and I thought it was in nice shape. And while I was with that same dealer, I picked up another Avengers issue. This is 204. As I said about pocket holes in my collection, I had 203, and then I think, I had like a whole mess of issues up to 203, and then I was missing like 2 or 3 issues, and then I had another run of Avengers again too. So just filling in those little pocket holes. I'm happy to have it. If you look way in the background, there's a little Jocasta action there. Just for you, Brock Morgan, I'm bringing it up. So this next comic book is one that you might be surprised that I bought because I think you would say, don't you have this in your collection already? And the answer is, yes, I do have this in my collection already. And no, I don't have this in my collection already. Let me explain. First, I'll show you the book. Look at that. It's a Dazzler number 1. And might I say, before I go any further, I wore my Disco Dazzler t-shirt to this DbQ Con show and got quite a few compliments from it. Many people saying, where'd you get that Dazzler shirt at? Or that's pretty cool. I guess you don't see many people in a Dazzler, especially a Disco Dazzler shirt at a Comic-Con. So, awesome. Let me explain why I have this and why I don't have this at the exact same time. When I saw this, I said to the person running the booth who was selling it, I said, can I open this up? Is it okay? And he said, yeah, it's okay. And as I started to open up, he said, you're looking to see if it has the printing error or not, aren't you? And I smiled and I said, yeah, I am. He goes, oh, I didn't look myself to see if it does or if it doesn't. I opened it up and I actually instantly opened it up to the page that I needed to check on. For those that aren't in the know, there is a printing error. There's a 2-page house ad. The printing error has those house ads in black and white, and then obviously the non-printing error has them in color. This is the non-printing error version, which to me is much harder to find than the printing error, believe it or not. This is the first time I've ever found a non-printing error in the wild. Besides the printing error, there is another piece of history with this comic book that maybe you're not aware of. This is the first comic book that ever was sold directly through comic book stores as an exclusive. So there are no newsstand copies of issue number 1 that exist. The only way you could get it, which is chock full of all Marvel guest stars, is to pick one up at a comic book store. Now, starting with Dazzler issue number 2, that was available via newsstand, but the issue number 1s were direct only exclusives. Pretty cool. Another issue that I needed was this Fantastic Four, and I saw quite a few Fantastic Four books at this event. This is issue number 252, and really I should probably hold it more like this. This is the horizontal issue. I've heard some people refer to it as the sideways issue as well. I never had this. Not only, I haven't read it yet, but not only am I told is the cover horizontal, but all the pages are too. So you read it this way instead of reading it the traditional this way. That's pretty cool. It's got some awesome John Byrne artwork in it too. So for the funsies of it, I picked it up because that's what we do on this channel. We pick it up for the funsies. I was able to acquire some AOKs to send out to community members at the show as well, which was cool. But there's one last book I have to show you that I picked up from my personal collection. And this is my big book. It's the last thing that I purchased at the event. And had I not purchased it, there would have been a lot of regret. I mean, a lot of regret. I've got a Golden Age comic book. Let me show you. Wonder Woman number 97. As a matter of fact, this is the last Golden Age issue of Wonder Woman, because starting with 98, the Silver Age begins. And back at the end of September, as I celebrated my 2-year anniversary on YouTube, I put out a video where I got to make a great announcement for my collection that I have all of the Wonder Woman Silver Age on up issues. So I have 98 on up, but now I have 97 on up. This is obviously low grade, that's okay. $60 is the price tag that was on there, but I was able to negotiate an even better price. So that was a thumbs up for sure. And also I want to mention with this cover, I have seen this book in the wild before and passed on it for a very stupid reason. Let's look at Wonder Woman's face. As a matter of fact, let's switch and give you a close-up of her face from this cover over here. Okay, you probably see it instantly. It looks like someone took a marker and drew a partial mustache on her, doesn't it? And I thought, well, someone drew a mustache on her. I'm not going to pay money for that. Then I started looking around on the internet. Every copy is like that. So that isn't an error on one copy or something that someone drew on one copy. It's on every copy. And I wouldn't say it's a mustache per se. I think it's supposed to either be a shadow or some type of shading, perhaps, interface, but it looks like a mustache. And now that I've pointed that out to you, you'll probably never see this cover again and not think of that. But the Runaway Time Express, a great dinosaur cover. Now I have Wonder Woman 97 on up. So you know what I need next? A 96, don't you think? We'll collect that series backwards. I don't know what would happen if I needed a number 1. That would be a great problem for me to have. As I mentioned, I'm going to share some footage with you at the end of this video, some con footage. So we'll talk about that later on before we wrap up this video. Right now we're at a very exciting part. I'm going to unbox this bad boy. So the Squatchy Foo comic book finally went on sale. For those that have been watching the pages on Squatchy Comics Instagram page, You've seen a lot of the pages, except for the final 4. He's never shared those. And I think that there's a big, maybe a cliffhanger ending, possibly. So Squatchy had those pages actually printed into a book, which is very exciting. And I want to congratulate him on doing that. You know, in this world, so many people talk about doing stuff, but he didn't just talk about it, he actually did it, which is awesome. And I ordered a set of 3. So here's the deal with this. Cover A, the main cover, will be reprinted again in the future if he needs to. Cover B and cover C were printed 50 copies of B and 50 copies of C, and they're never going to be reprinted again. In addition, there is a blank variant too for Squatchy to do some custom artwork on. And I think that is limited edition as well. So I wanted the set of 3, the A, B, and C covers, which incidentally, they are all homage covers. And that's what I got. One of the covers is going to be signed and remarked. And it's approved by the Squatch Clan elders. And I'm actually in this comic book. I play the role of this serial killer. Can you believe it? And I guess I'm a serial killer who loves pizza. And since I'm in the book and I'm actually on one of the covers, everyone who appeared in the book, because this is based on the YouTube comic book community, everyone who appeared in this issue is on cover C. But I decided to get a remark on it. And I thought, well, I'm in the comic book. Let's remark me. You know, I want to be remarked in the comic book. So that's what we have. And this is my unboxing for it. Oh, I got a note here with some stickers. I knew that there were some stickers included. Instantly, I see the murder pizza sticker, which, you know, is tied to my character. That's awesome. That would look good right there. We have this stank banger, and the Foo is a furry. Oh, one more. We have these Squatchy Comics. A glitter sticker, too. Sweet. The note says, Lasso! Thanks for grabbing a set of Squatchy and Foo. You are hella appreciated, and I can't wait for volume 2. Your character is one of my faves. Hope you dig the book. Much love and respect, Squatchy. Sweet. I'm so happy that I'm one of your favorites, and I'm excited to see what happens to my character in volume 2. So I think, let's see. I think this is the one on top that's turned down that has the remark on it. I'm pretty sure it is. I see a certificate of authenticity on the back. I don't know if I should save that to last or... No, let's just do it right now. It's the A cover, so it's going to go first. So we have a small certificate of authenticity that verifies it's signed and remarked by Wes, aka Squatchy. And here we go. The remark's going to be of me. Now I want to see it. Oh, there I am! There I am. I'm holding pizza, and you know it's me. It's got the Wonder Woman logo on a shirt. I love it because it's almost like a ghostly me with the way that remark turned out. I love it. Oh, that's awesome. And then Squatchy signed it there in pink with the Squatch print. Oh, that is so cool. My first remark, and it's of me. Who would have ever thought? I certainly wouldn't have. This is sweet. By the way, if you're interested in these books, you can check out Squatchy Comics on Instagram to see the availability. As of the filming of this video, there's still, once again, the A cover, this is unlimited printing, so this should always be available. These next 2 covers were limited to 50 each, and I'm not sure by the time this video drops how many will be left. But here is the B cover. Nice little homage there with Hulk and Wolverine. I love it. Nice. And I got number 10 out of 50. That's sweet. And then this is funny. On this last one, which is a Walking Dead homage, I got number 11 out of 50. So that's funny. And this is the cover that I'm on. If you look close enough, right here in the center holding the bloody knife is me. And that's fine. I mean, worse things could have happened to me on this cover. I mean, take a look at Ranger Ackery if you dare. My first Remark and the first time I've ever been in a comic book and the first time I've ever been on a comic book cover. Yes. Thank you, Squatchy. I'm excited for the next volume of this to see how the adventures continue. That's some good money that I spent there. That was definitely well worth it. And while we're on the subject of Squatchy and Foo, but a little bit more of ComicFoo2814, that's what we're going to segue into this next topic of our video. But first I want to do some new and recent subscriber shoutouts before we get there. I mention these people not only with appreciation for them subscribing to my channel, but in hopes that you will go and check out their channels and subscribe to them as well. Get their subscriber count up and we'll continue to help grow this community. I want to thank Tylox the Mighty, who is a new and recent subscriber to my channel. Male6565, always appreciate the comments that Male6565 leaves for me on my videos. Smiley Tori puts a smile on my face knowing that Smiley Tori was a new and recent subscriber to my channel. Cole's Comic Claims. Rob's Comics 81. Rob's Comics 81 is a big foreign edition comic collector, so I'm looking forward to collaborating with him sometime in the future on this channel. Here's a username I love, Circumstances. 2 words, S-U-R-C-A-M, stances. Thank you and hello to fellow new channel subscribers, including Daniel McMahon, Anna Maria Molano Zambrano, Edwin Swinton, Stephen Birkland, I wonder who that is, Glenn 2K12, Piotr Kazowski, hopefully I pronounced that correct, apologies if I didn't, Jordan Colon, Regis Klein. Thank you again for being new and recent subscribers to my channel. I really appreciate it. So we mentioned ComicFoo2814, and up next we have an AOK from the man himself. No idea what's inside the box, but we'll find out together after I put you into fast forward mode. You know, I was thinking during that fast forward mode unboxing, I very innocently and blindly just ripped that sucker open, not even stopping and realizing for a moment that it's Foo. And I thought, you know, he could have confetti bombed me again. But there appears to be no sign of that, which is good. So the quick note on the front says, "For Ryan, thanks for helping me with this, Dave." So it was a little project that I helped ComicFoo out with. Didn't have to send me anything. I was more than happy to help out, which also benefited someone else in the community. So not sure what's in there. You're going to find out at the same time that I do. Let's see. Oh yeah. That's the print, the ComicFoo and Squatchy print, which is awesome. Yes, very, very cool. I think I have one of these already, but I'm happy to have another one. I can frame one and then put one in a portfolio too. That would be cool. So it looks like there's one more book behind there. Oh, the first Squatchy and Foo. There's an advertisement for this on the back page. I'm really happy to have that. And that ties in perfectly since, we just finished doing the Squatchy and Foo unboxing. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this because I'm a completist. I want to have the first one as well. So Sasquatch Klondike #1, and it's got the Squatchy and Foo ad, which is the true first appearance of Squatchy and Foo. That is super awesome. And he didn't even have to, I appreciate the note, but I actually knew what it was even without the note. Very awesome. Thank you so much, ComicFoo. I truly appreciate you sending this my way. I wanted one of these to be a completist, and it was one of those I thought, I need to get one of those sometime. And other expenses come up, or, a comic show comes up or something, and you divert money to that, and it just kind of keeps moving back on the back burner. But now I can check mark that one. It's taken care of. So I'm pretty stoked and pretty happy. Thank you, ComicFoo. I was happy to help you with that other situation too. And you didn't have to do this, but I'm really glad that you did, because I'm truly happy to have a copy for my PC now. Thank you very much. So turning next, I'm going to turn to eBay. And when I did 7.5 questions with Hoarder's Hide, one of the questions that Scott asked me is something that I don't think anyone has ever asked me. Have you ever regretted buying something? And I did have an answer, yes. But if Scott were to re-ask me that question right now, what I'm about to show you is my answer, is my new and updated answer. I regret buying this. And you're looking at that going, Ryan, why do you regret buying this? No, I knew it was a facsimile, first of all. It's DC 100-page Super Spectacular issue #6, the facsimile. I knew that going in. There wasn't a lot of even the facsimiles of this on eBay. And the regular first prints, they're not that hard to find, but they're usually in low grade, and the price is pretty high even for low grade. So I thought, I'm good with the facsimile version of it. And he said it's near mint. The seller said this is a near mint copy. This is nowhere close to a near mint copy. And for the amount of money that I paid for it, I'm very disappointed. It's got a beautiful cover. It's a wraparound cover too. I won't take the board out, but if you look here on the insert, you can see that I put up the back cover for you. It's just not, I paid too much money for it for as low of condition that it truly is. And I did have a talk with the seller about it, and I actually felt better talking to him. It wasn't a heated dialogue or anything like that. He kind of saw my point too, and he didn't really have any counterpoints. Grading is he did not say this either. These are my words. Grading is subject, but I wish more had been disclosed. One thing that you'll always hear me say, and have heard me say, I don't like surprises when I get my books. I've been buying stuff on eBay for decades, and comic books are the only thing that I seem to have some problems with. Not all the time, but sometimes. And I don't know, is what it is, I guess. However, I do have a plan in store on getting an original. So hopefully, fingers crossed, you'll see an original in a video sometime very soon. That's my goal, at least. We'll see if I achieve that. One other book that I want to show you, even though it's not really a back issue, again, for the funsies of it. Isn't this awesome? Nubia and the Amazons, issue #1. This is the 1 in 25 incentive cover, and it looks just like the C cover, Joshua Swaby. And the only difference is this is a virgin cover and it's foil. Got some foil goodness going on there. Too beautiful not to include in a comic book editions video, if you ask me. Now we hit the time in the video where I encourage you to leave your comments. What do you think about the books that I've recently added to my collection? What did you think of that Remark from Squatchy? Do you have any of these books that I showed? Are you hunting any of them? I love to dialogue about all of these things and more in the comment section below, because your comments are always encouraged, appreciated, and welcomed. If you give this video a thumbs up, I certainly do appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already, because that's another great way to show support. You can share the channel with someone that maybe isn't a subscriber or hasn't watched this video. I always appreciate that. I truly appreciate you. You made it to the end of another Comic Book Editions video. Thanks for sticking with me today and have a great rest of your day. Thanks again, ComicFoo2814 and Squatchy Comics.